Hello gamers around the world, I'm Sparkus and welcome to Game Breaking News, the show where I bring you everything important that happened this week in the world of gaming. And well, you may have noticed that this time the video is quite early compared to the Game Breaking News before. Well, the reason for that is because I was constantly behind my own schedule when I wanted to upload those videos. So now I will try a different approach to when I'm gonna record and release those videos. So new episodes of Game Breaking News should be available now on Saturday, maybe even on Friday, well, depending on where you live. Anyways, the goal is that you should be able to enjoy a new episode anytime during the weekend and not during the busy week. And now, let's start with the news because it's Nintendo time, ladies and gentlemen. It is the second week of March, so we finally got the information. We have the clarity. Nintendo's next big thing is coming out on 23rd of March in form of Bye Bye Box Boy on Nintendo DS. So I guess that is it for Nintendo news this week. Or is it? Well, of course not, because Farming Simulator 18 is coming out on 3DS on June. Well, it's out for the Vita as well, but nobody cares about that. Not even Sony. Okay, enough with the garbage. We got some information about how the Nintendo Switch performed selling across the globe on its release. Well, all we need to know is, of course, that GameStop is pretty pleased with the launch of the console because it is, and I quote, one of the strongest and most successful gaming launches for GameStop in the last several years. Honestly, I have already heard PR bullshit like that so often. And if you hear things like one-off and last several years, especially within the same sentence, well, that normally tells you that it mostly wasn't like that. And actually, it's mostly the exact opposite that was the case. Well, luckily, we have some actual numbers as well. Like in the UK, the Switch sold 80,000 units within the first 3 days. Just in comparison, the Wii sold 105,000 and the Wii U sold 40,000. Alright, I would say we're off to a good start. Now, what else do we have? Well, in France, we hit the 105,000 units, apparently. In Germany, Nintendo didn't tell any numbers, but said that the Switch had the most sales on a launch week compared to any other Nintendo console. Yeah, whatever that means. Fuck you, Nintendo. At least we got some numbers in Japan, and apparently it sold 330,000 units. It had more units sold than the PS4 with 310,000 sold units within the first days. Well, that doesn't really have to mean much, because the Wii U was also pretty close with almost 310,000 consoles as well. And, well, we know how that went out. On an interesting side note is the attach rate of the Switch in Japan. Well, what's the attach rate, you ask? Well, that is the ratio between sold consoles and sold video games. And, well, it's a glorious 1.07 games per console. Even the Wii U had 1.22. But then again, that's not that surprising since there's literally nothing to play on the Switch except Zelda, which is apparently a really fucking great game. But still, Nintendo was so much brain-fucked by hentai tentacle porn that they did not include 1-2 Switch with the console. It was a really stupid move, man. Stupid move. Alright, now that we have covered the non-important countries, let's look at the greatest country in the history of the world, Canada. Let's take a short moment to appreciate what hot stuff Justin Trudeau is and always was. And on the other side, there is Britain. Alright, now how did the Switch perform in the personal playground of the Trump family? Well, basically same as in former and, according to Turkish President Erdogan, current Nazi country Germany. Those motherfuckers from Nintendo did not say shit about actual numbers and only said that it sold more than the Wii within the first days. And the same goes also for the land of kangaroos and kiwis. Now, like I said, the Wii U sold good in Japan, and we have to keep an eye on how those numbers will turn out in the long term. But so far, I feel comfortable to say that this was a successful launch on which Nintendo and third party developers, and with that I mean primarily indie devs, to produce games to keep the ball rolling. But, well, the launch was not without problems. For one, we had several delays with deliveries of the console. It was hard to say if this was due to lack of consoles or just shitty logistics. And of course, every new console has some shit on its chin. Like, apparently, there is already a blue screen of death that basically destroys the console. But okay, that doesn't seem to happen that much, and is not apparently that much of a problem. More so is that there is apparently a connectivity issue with the JoyCons that Nintendo actually also confirmed that they know about. Ah, damn it. It's a really, really stupid name that you got there for your controllers, Nintendo. Joy-Con? Really? What is that? Candyland? Anyway, it seems that the controllers can lose connections for A, no reason, or for B, due to a low range of the controllers. Also, there are apparently already complaints about scratched screens after attaching and detaching the Switch to and from the docking station. Wow, Nintendo, that's one hell of a great job done there. Now the consumer has to know that this may happen and then find a way on its own to prevent that with some poster or whatnot. But come on, you can't really stay mad at Nintendo because they were really, really busy hiding a secret message inside its stupid Pro Controller. Because if you pull down one stick, you can see the text saying thanks to all game fans. Well, they probably put a task force behind that idea, but put an intern in charge of testing the docking station. Okay, to sum up the launch of the Switch, we got some good, if not great, sales numbers within the first days, combined with some minor software issues and a potentially critical design oversight with the docking station. Well, let's see where we go from there. Well, to some extent, I can tell you where we're gonna go. So far, Nintendo has focused mostly to make the Switch a gaming device, and that is the right approach, definitely, and you've done this good, I would say, Nintendo. But also in the future, and who knows when that's going to be, streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime and potentially more will be added to the console as well. That's what Nintendo's America boss said in an interview with the Washington Post. Speaking of Amazon, as you may or may not know, Amazon is trying to expand bigly, and they also do that towards the gaming industry. Not only did Amazon buy Twitch back in 2014, they also started its own Amazon Game Studios. Well, so far there haven't been any released games, not even a release date for the 3 games they announced, but that doesn't mean that they have given up. News are that games veteran Louis Castle, who worked on the original Command & Conquers, was hired to lead a team in Seattle for a multiplayer title called Crucible. Alright guys, how do you feel about Amazon's expansion into so many directions? They reach out into music, TV, music, gaming, electronic devices, and whatnot. And it all started with online shopping. So, do you think it's a good thing that Amazon is trying to reach new markets because they simply innovate and stir up the market and making things easier to access? Or do you think that Amazon is building up too much too quickly and so trying to creating a monopoly-like environment where they control the market? Or is it like, well, let them, they give us high quality content for a good price? Well, put your thoughts in the comments down below. Next up, some non-news regarding the sales of Horizon Zero Dawn. Because we also have no real numbers yet, but according to several sources, Horizon Zero Dawn was the most successful new IP launch on the PS4, at least in the UK. It's really foggy there. That title was actually held since last August by none other than No Man's Sky. And, well, believe it or not, Hello Games is still working on No Man's Sky, and so there was already an update released with new features like a Pathfinder car buggy thingy where you can drive through the planets. Now, I can't really say much about that because I'm still torn with this game, so I decided at some point to not to care about this game anymore. But I got to be honest with you, I'm getting curious how the game has changed so far. So, guys, did you play No Man's Sky lately? If yes, how is it now? If not, well, I guess I know most reasons and that you have some good reasons to not have played it. But I would really like to read your thoughts on No Man's Sky in the comments down below. Speaking of overhyped wonders in the gaming industry, back in 2015 during the E3 Microsoft press conference, Ayan was announced a new game by Dean Hall, the creator of DayZ. Well, it was a new game because they have reportedly stopped working on it some time now without telling anybody. Well, first, I had no clue what this game was about anyway, and second, what is the hype about this guy? He's literally the most successful game developer who hasn't released a game whatsoever. On the other hand, Conan Exiles was released about a month ago, at least as an early access on PC, and apparently they are already making a profit of the game. Well, I would say well done. I wonder how they did it. Well, it's probably the fact that when you customize your character, you can also adjust the penis size of your character. Well, let's say feature may not be available when the game will be released on Xbox because of some guidelines or whatnot. Tits, apparently you can adjust, that's no problem. But wieners, no, that's a big no-no. Oh man, the US has a really weird relationship with nudity. To be fair, the same goes for drugs in Australia, Germany, and violence in Japan with atomic bombs in video games. Okay, well, I guess the last one is kind of understandable. Alright, so, since we're at the topic of violence, tits, and wieners, oh man, so many wieners, let's take a short break. Let's take a short break by keeping in mind that even if it's March, winter is still coming.
This one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground.
The same thing is coming for all of us. There is only one war that matters. The Great War. And it is here.
Oh man, honestly, I masturbated to that teaser, and I'm proud to admit that. Game of Thrones. Who said that porn does not need a story? Well, to you guys who said that, you've been proven wrong. Speaking of porn that I've masturbated to, we have new information regarding Uncharted. What? What are you looking at? Uncharted is pure action porn. Hey, don't judge me. Like you go and watch Transformers or The Avengers for the dialogues. Anyway, we have some news regarding the standalone expansion of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Mostly it was about how different yet similar the expansion will be compared to Uncharted 4. In the expansion it will be just one location in India and not like several across the globe. It will also focus more on the relationship of those two bitches right here. Also, they want to mix up some new mechanics, whatever that's supposed to mean. I wonder why this is a standalone expansion and not its own and full Uncharted title. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want another Uncharted. And don't get me wrong again, I would masturbate to an Uncharted 5 as well if they would make one. But Naughty Dog co-founder Evan Wells said in an interview that there's not going to be another Uncharted anytime soon because they are working on The Last of Us Part 2 and other projects as well. Okay, and here's my view on why this is a good thing. Sure, an Uncharted 5 would be fun, but the fact that it ends makes it much better. The best example for that is, in my opinion, Breaking Bad. That was 5 seasons of awesomeness, and then done, finito. The same goes for Game of Thrones. The next 2 seasons will be the last, and they don't have that many episodes per season as well. The whole thing has a beginning and an end. Not like The Walking Dead, where they were talking in interviews to keep on and on and on making episodes until nobody is watching them. Or like Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or the Transformers movies. Or the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Damn it, Disney. Watch out what you're doing with Star Wars. Seriously, don't fuck that up. Sure, those franchises make a crap ton of money, but a beginning and an end. So there is an origin story and a conclusion where everything comes together. That makes a story memorable, meaningful, and then it can turn into art instead of just commercial bullshit. Oh well, the Star Wars saga ended to be art and turned into commercial bullshit a long time ago. But there's also more news regarding Naughty Dogs. The other co-founder and co-president Christoph Bastera will leave the company next month. Wow, that came unexpected. And sure, the real creative heads within the Naughty Dogs team are Neil Druckmann and Bruce Swanson, but the heads of the company, they are the ones who end up, making the big decisions. They talk to Sony that, give them the needed time, money, and support. And don't get me wrong, Sony could do the exact opposite thing and pressure them to keep on releasing games for the PlayStation. So let's hope and see if Naughty Dog will keep bringing awesome games to us, or if the changes in the staff since Uncharted 4 have changed the company too much. Speaking about changes, since Crytek is having financial problems, they have sold their dev studio Crytek Black Sea to Sega. Now, the studio is called Creative Assembly Sofia because, well, that's the city in Bulgaria. Now, the team is supposed to support the Creative Assembly team in, well, I guess making more and hopefully better Total War games, or maybe other strategy titles like Halo Wars 2 that they were also helping out to develop. In other news, the Kickstarter campaign for Banner Saga 3 is now over, and the goal of $200,000 was reached, and they got additional $200,000 as well. I guess it's safe to say that the game will come out sometime next year. So you don't want to wait that long? Well, how about Outlast 2? The release date was confirmed this week to be the 25th of April. I personally have not played Outlast, but there has so much hype about the original one, so I'm definitely gonna play and review Outlast 2. So guys, if you played Outlast, I wonder if it's really that good, scary, or if the atmosphere is really that good. We also got a release date for MotoGP 17 that will come out on the 15th of June. I told you guys, 2017 is the year for racing fans. And finally, we had a first gameplay trailer for Middle-earth: Shadow of War. I gotta say, it looks fucking awesome. And I guess this will be a great game during the summer drought when there will be so little new game releases. Anyways, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure to present you the show and the news of this week. If you haven't done it so far, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with game-breaking news. Don't forget to press the like button down below. That would be really, really nice. And tell me in the comments below your thoughts and fears about our beloved hobby, gaming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.